Hello guys, I'm going to teach module 1, Introduction to Linux. This will be mostly a theoretical session, but from next video you will learn practical session. So first of all, you need to know what is operating system. Operating system is a software that acts as a middleman or bridge between a computer hardware and computer user. It provides a user interface and control the computer hardware so that the software can function. Here you can see the Wikipedia definition. It is a system software that manages computer hardware and software resources, and it provides common services for computer programs. If you see types of operating system, you can see the desktop operating system, for example, Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, such as Ubuntu. If you see server operating system, Windows Server, Linux distribution like CentOS and Red Hat. If you see Red Hat is almost similar to CentOS because Red Hat is a clone of CentOS. So mobile operating system you can see here, and embedded operating system you can see in the router and small devices like smart TV and automobiles. If you see a real-time operating system, you can see in critical systems like medical equipment, defense, aerospace, and all. What is Linux? First of all, Linux is a free and open source operating system. It's free means you no need to pay for license and all. It's mostly free. It's fully free. And open source means the source code of the operating system is fully free. You can edit the operating system source code, and you can create a new operating system, and you can distribute also. There's no limitations, no restrictions and all. That's the most main advantage of the Linux distribution. And the Linux distribution is almost similar to Windows, but there are difference. You know, Linux is very popular for stability and security as well as the flexibility. If you see stability, it's no need to reboot frequently, such as Windows. If you see Windows Server, you have to reboot frequently. But if you say Linux, there's no reboot required frequently. And security-wise, the Linux is almost immune to viruses. Flexibility means you can edit the source code and you can play with it. That's the flexibility. You can even edit the grab interface. I will teach about grab and all later. You can edit anything, and it's almost fully flexible. There are many distributions in Linux. So you'll learn about those distributions later. And as we discussed, it's open source nature means that community of developers and users contributes to it development. So there are community to help you. You can ask help from them. Why we learn Linux? Because it's widely used in servers and cloud computings. If you want to become a cloud computing expert, then you have to learn Linux first. And free softwares are there. A lot of free softwares you can download and install in Linux, but not in Windows and other operating system. Many applications are free. And a strong command line interface, and it's a very high speed, fast processing, enhanced security. There, as we discussed before, there's no viruses for Linux, and customization, open source nature. You can edit and redistribute your operating system again. And there are community support. You can get help from them. Understanding of the other operating system, because you can see the operating system source code, so you can understand. There are a lot of career opportunities if you want. If you there are cloud computing, Linux administrator, Linux systems engineer, a lot of opportunities are there. And next, if you see the Linux versus Unix, you have to understand about Unix also a bit. The Unix developed in late 1960s and early 1970s, but Linux created by Linus Torvalds in 1991. It's fully free, unlike Unix. And licensing, as we discussed before, we have to pay for licensing. You have to pay for Unix, but not for Linux. Linux is a GPL. There's a general public license, so it's fully free. And there are a lot of Linux distributions. You can see Ubuntu, Fedora. Ubuntu is almost like Windows, but there is a graphical user interface. Fedora is at the corporate level distribution, Debian also corporate level, but Red Hat is mostly used in corporates, like system administration. They use Red Hat, and CentOS is also similar to Red Hat. If you learn CentOS, you don't need to learn Red Hat. If you learn Red Hat, you don't need to learn CentOS. It's almost fully similar. So I will teach the CentOS because I have CentOS operating system. If you see Arch operating system, Arch Linux, it's fully command line interface, CLI. OpenSUSE also one distribution. Linux Mint is almost similar to Windows. It's very lightweight. That's the different. Gen 2, Slackware, Elfine's Linux, and last but not least, Kali Linux. That's because there are a lot of packages for security students. There are social engineering tools and penetration testing tools and all. So it's best for security students. And then Linux users, there are a lot of Linux users, such as the developers, educational institutions, government agencies, enterprise and businesses, tech companies, cloud and web servers, supercomputer and research facilities, telecommunications and networking. If you see here, there are a lot of users, but here this one, cloud and web servers and telecommunications and networking are most major contributor, major user of Linux distribution. Here you need to learn, you need to understand what's the difference between Linux and Windows as well. Linux is fully free, but Windows you have to pay. Linux is not user friendly actually. It's you have to go into the command line interface and command for every task. But Windows is user friendly. If you want to open a folder, you can double click and open. But in Linux, you have to write a command and open the folder. The reliability was wise. Linux is very reliable than Windows. If you take Windows, you have to often require reboot. But if you see Linux, it will run for a year. You no need to reboot the Linux operating system. Then software, almost all softwares like applications are free in Linux distribution. But if you say Windows, Microsoft Office or games or other things, you have to pay for those. And actually, Linux, you can't play games. This is lightweight, as you know, so it's not for a graphical user interface. It's like command line interfaces. Linux is best for multitasking, but not uh, in Windows. In Windows, require a lot of resources. But Linux, you can have limited resource, but it will be very high speed. You can do multitask as well. Linux is very secure as we discussed because it's immune to virus and you can restrict the folders and you can give the access control and as well. The control will be yours in Linux, but if you say in Windows, the control will be in the system mostly. It will update automatically, it will reboot, but sometimes if you say Linux, it will not reboot automatically. If it will not update automatically, you have to update yourself manually. And you can also set up, if you want, you can also set up to update automatically also. Open to public because even source code also. But here there's no. This is not an open source operating system. Okay, you learn something about Windows, Linux, Unix, and all in this lecture. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much. And please comment below if I want to change my teaching methods and all. Please comment below. I will try to change. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.